The movie begins with a beautiful village where people are celebrating because the village's witch has died. Meanwhile, Glinda arrives and confirms the news of the witch's death. As she prepares to leave, a child curiously asks Glinda how witches are made and why everyone sees them as evil. Glinda becomes serious and replies, "Witches are not born evil. It is people who make them that way." The scene then shifts to the past, showing the birth of Elphaba, a baby with green skin. Her father does not accept her because of her appearance. It is also revealed that she possesses magical powers. Whenever she cried or got angry, things would start floating in the air. Elphaba never received love from her parents. As she grows older, her problems increase because no one accepts her. Elphaba has a younger sister named Rose, who is beautiful but was born with a weak leg. Despite everything, Elphaba deeply loves her sister. One day, while Rose was sharing a story with her friends, they started making fun of her. Seeing this, Elphaba became furious and, using her magic, threw a rock from the ground. When their father found out, he got angry and took Rose away, leaving Elphaba alone. The scene then cuts back to Glinda and the villagers, where they are building a statue of the witch to burn it down. Before leaving, someone asks Glinda, "Was Elphaba your friend?" Glinda replies, "No, but I knew her very well." The story shifts to a university where Glinda arrives for her studies, and Elphaba comes there to enroll Rose. During the introduction session, a teacher takes Rose away following protocol. Elphaba tries to stop him, but he does not listen. In anger, she stops Rose's wheelchair, causing everything around them to levitate due to her powers. To prevent Elphaba from being seen as dangerous, the principal claims that the magic was his own and sends Glinda to take Elphaba to her room. Later that night, Elphaba enters Glinda's room and finds it in a mess with no space for her to stay. Annoyed, she loses control and her anger causes objects to float and the glass windows to shatter. Their fight becomes the talk of the university, and the next morning, students split into two groups, one supporting Glinda and the other leaving Elphaba completely alone. In class, a professor who is an animal starts his lecture. He explains that animals and humans once lived together peacefully, but due to food shortages, humans started hunting them. It is evident that animals are being oppressed in the university as well. This deeply hurts the professor, and Elphaba befriends him, standing by his side. Later, the principal begins teaching Elphaba how to control her magical powers. One night, Elphaba overhears a conversation among teachers and learns about the suffering of the animals. She tells them she has a good relationship with the principal and promises to help restore their rights. Determined, she runs into the forest, where she meets a prince. Initially, he is scared of her, but over time, Glinda starts trying to impress him. Though he does not pay attention to her at first, he eventually becomes her friend, and they go to the library together, where his mischievous behavior becomes apparent. Later, Glinda is invited to the prom party. Since she wants to go with the prince, she tells the inviter to ask Rose instead. When Rose receives the invitation, she tells Elphaba, but Elphaba forbids her from going, which makes Rose angry. At the prom, Glinda gives Elphaba a witch's hat as a gift. When Elphaba arrives wearing it, everyone laughs and mocks her strange appearance. Feeling embarrassed, she leaves the hat on the ground and starts dancing alone. This makes the others laugh even more. But seeing this, Glinda feels bad and joins her in the dance. Eventually, the entire party starts dancing with them, and Elphaba is finally accepted as a friend. After the party, Glinda and Elphaba bond, and Glinda shares a secret. She is going to marry the prince. She asks Elphaba to share a secret too, but Elphaba refuses, making Glinda upset. Later, Elphaba opens up about her father's rejection and her mother's death. She reveals that before Rose was born, her father made her mother drink rose milk to ensure Rose would not be born with green skin. But as a result, Rose was born prematurely and became disabled, while their mother died. The next day, Elphaba arrives at the university looking beautiful, styled by Glinda, and everyone starts liking her. However, in their last class with the animal professor, another teacher arrives and captures him. He even has a caged lion cub. Seeing this, Elphaba becomes furious, and her anger makes everything around her float again. Everyone except the prince faints due to the magic. Elphaba and the prince then escape with the lion cub and release it into the forest. The principal is pleased with the incident because it proves Elphaba's growing powers. He writes a letter to the Wizard of Oz, requesting him to summon Elphaba. Soon a green train arrives to take her away. As Elphaba prepares to leave, Glinda gives her a letter, revealing that her relationship with the prince is not going well, and she wants to go with Elphaba. They both travel to Emerald City, the magical land shown in the opening scene. They are warmly welcomed and watch a magic show where the Wizard of Oz meets them. The wizard shows Elphaba a future vision of her ruling the city, but Elphaba refuses, saying she only wants to help the animals. At that moment, the principal arrives. To test Elphaba's powers, the wizard shows her a monkey that wishes to fly and asks her to read a spell from a magical book. Elphaba recites the spell, and wings appear on the monkey, but it screams in pain. Realizing the truth, Elphaba demands the wizard reverse the spell, but he refuses, revealing that they are using magic to enslave animals. Elphaba steals the magic book and escapes. The wizard and principal offer Glinda the chance to learn magic in exchange for betraying Elphaba. Soon, flying monkeys are sent to hunt her down. Glinda eventually finds Elphaba, who is trying to escape using a hot air balloon, but the doors are locked, causing the balloon to burst. Glinda tries to convince her to stay, but Elphaba insists. "I don't want to rule. I only want to help the animals." Meanwhile, the principal declares that Elphaba has stolen their magical book, making her a criminal. In anger, Elphaba reads a spell from the book, summoning a magical broomstick, and flies away. Glinda and the principal shake hands, forming an alliance. This betrayal breaks Elphaba's heart, and she curses the entire city. The movie's opening scene now makes sense. Elphaba's death lifted the curse, and that is why the village was celebrating. In the end, it is clear. No one is born evil. It is people who turn them into monsters.